Hey guys, Cockerpunk here. Been a little while since I did a last update, but as I said in my last video, my life has been really busy these days, and I'm just getting back into where I was before in paintball, especially recovering after Living Legends, which was ridiculous. Anybody who was there, it was awesome meeting you. It was great. It was great playing. But what I got here for you today are two very beautiful, relatively old school guns, but this isn't part of the old school guns tour. I get questions about these two guns quite often. I've answered at least 5 or 10 PMs about them, and there's multiple threads on TechBB and other forums. Which gun to buy? The Autococker or the Autococker SR or the Karnivor? They're both kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to WGP autocockers. These guns came out in late '04. And they were sold until the Black Magics, which were half-block bodies. And then WGP came out with this gun in, I think, 2006. So they've been sitting on shelves in storage for a long time. So that's one thing, when you buy one of these, it will probably leak. It won't be bad, but you're going to have to go through and clean something out, because it's probably going to leak. First, let's just go through these different guns. On the Karnivors, you can get two different style front blocks. It depends on the RAM you get. Some of them have an STO RAM that has QEVs. Others have this MP4 RAM, which with these integrated QEVs. The big difference though on Karnivors is the board you get with them. This one happens to be an E2. You can also get them with E1s and 0Bs, which are both total garbage. So you want to get either an E2 or a Yakuza board in your Karnivor. These both guns come with very similar barrels. They're both 14-inch 689 barrels. This is a little bit flashier milled and anodized guns. These are, in my opinion, probably the most beautiful paintball gun ever made. That's just my opinion. Other people like other guns, but I just love these Karnivors. So the big thing you get with the big choice you get with the Karnivor is the board. On this gun, like I said, these guns have been sitting in storage for a little while, and so they might leak a little bit. The other thing is the factory settings are just flat out wrong. So if you buy one, search online for the new settings. The big one is watch time. The other big one is ball and place delay. Increase them both. The LPRs also are a little bit high from the factory. And then the other thing you gotta watch out for is this lug depth thing. Other than that, these guns are great. I actually really like these guns. The frame, it looks hideously ugly, but it's actually very fast and quite comfortable. And that's one of my biggest complaints about the Karnivor is, frankly, the trigger geometry is just flat out wrong. It's just terrible. The frame is not terribly comfortable. It's very wide and kind of blocky. The trigger pivot point is right here, which is right in line with the whole system. It's a magnetic breakaway system with an optical thing, so the trigger on the old style E-blades I think is just terrible, and it's one of the reasons why one of the big things I don't like about this gun, which I very much like about this gun. This still has a magnetic breakaway, but it also has a micro switch. The other thing is, even though the trigger rotation point is similarly located, the profile of the trigger is far nicer, and this is actually a very fast trigger. If you guys want to see me rocking one of these at 14 plus BPS on semi-automatic, Mike has a video of it. These things are very fast. The other nice thing about these guns is they're half-blocked already, so they're very short, so you can get in on them really tight, unlike the Karnivors. And in general, a gun like the Karnivor is just a larger gun in every respect. The foregrip's farther laid out in front. It's about 1.5 inches longer in back. So if you want an autococker that shoots well, has a great board. This board is amazing. The other thing is, the other great thing about this board is, unlike all the cryptic and old style timing setups like con. What does con mean? I don't know. You gotta look it up in the dang manual what con means. it actually means cocking solenoid on, but then there's all the settings in here actually make sense in modern day. There's like open delay, okay? That makes perfect sense. Ball in place delay, again, makes perfect sense. You know, it has a far more easy to use board. Modern modes, which the 0B and the E2 or in the E1 don't have. The E2 does have the modern modes, but this board is far easier to say cap BPS. On here you have to start adding numbers up to cap BPS. So in a lot of ways this gun is much more user-friendly and just a much more modern gun. So if you're looking for an autococker, sure, but you also want to, you know, practice X-ball or something like that, this is the gun to use. This is the gun to buy. At the price they're selling these at, these things are a steal, and they're great little guns. But if you want kind of more of a classic gun kind of feel, you know, it can still compete on an X-ball field, but you know, it's bigger, it's a little bit heavier. It kicks a little bit more than the half block in this gun, and the trigger geometry is not very good. And you're willing to, you know, sacrifice that for how damn good looking these guns are, then buy one of these. So if you're looking for like the classic car that can still keep up, like a McLaren F1. Sure, a McLaren F1 isn't as fast as a Bugatti Veyron, but you know what? It's a McLaren F1 and it's a freaking sweet car. That's what the Karnivor is. This would be the Bugatti Veyron of autocockers. You know, it really is the end of the line for the autococker. Where, you know, there's no more back block, there's essentially no more front block, everything's manifold mounted. You know, this is as streamlined and as modern as an autococker gets. It even has a modern board, which is rare to see in guns like this. Whereas this is far more of a classic car kind of thing. It's you just look good driving down the road with this gun, you know? So that's my opinion of the two. They're both stellar guns. They both shoot really well. The SR is a little bit louder, that's one thing to note, than the Karnivor. I'm not quite sure why, but I think it has to do with that smaller spider style valve. But yeah, they're both fine guns, and I'd recommend both guns if you're looking to get into kind of more of a tinkerer's gun, but you know, just kind of fun to shoot and a unique experience overall. These two guns are both great for that. The SR, for the price they're going, is a steal of a deal. It's a little bit more hot rodded, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to use, whereas this is a little bit more of a classic cocker. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not going to say one's better than the other because I happen to own this one and my buddy Keith happens to own this one, and if Keith doesn't want this, I'm buying it. So, you know, I can't say which one's better than the other one. I can just say that this one is cooler or more prestigious, and this one is probably a little bit better performing. Other than that, they're, like I said, just both great guns. I recommend both of them. If you ever get a chance to pick up a Karnivor for cheap, or everybody has a chance to pick up an SR for cheap, do it, if that's what you're looking to do. So, with that, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. So yeah.